boys. Giuseppe is here. Gunnar Sol, Slard, Brandon, Nathan, Staffy. We got Dio. Oh, look, I feel, hang on, I do feel sorry here. Kate is the only Spurs fan who turned up. Spurs fan who's here. I'm going to go to Kate first of all, because you were the home team today. Obviously, a very disappointing defeat, but give us your instant thoughts and highlights of the game.
Look, it was just I thought it was a poor game in all, to be honest. I didn't think either team particularly did enough to win. Obviously, Arsenal scored the goal, so that was the difference. But I just didn't think it was a great game. I think it goes to show we've got so many players still in our team that are nowhere near good enough. Brendan Johnson is not even a footballer. I mean, I think I could do better than him, to be fair. Timo Werner is just, I can't cope with Timo Werner. Sonny didn't turn up. I mean, under Ange now, we've got no wins out of 7 London derbies, and that is just not acceptable. And this guy, I think, will be out of job very, very soon. I don't blame him for the loss particularly, because it was a lack of concentration by Romero, and Vicario was exceptionally weak for the goal. But I still think Ange is out of his depth, and I think it showed today. And if he's got the players that he wanted, then his player ID is shocking. So yeah, that's my analysis.
No, listen. I think there's an element to that. I mean, the way he plays Brendan Johnson suggests he wanted him. We've seen Spurs before where managers have been given players they don't want. They barely play. Brendan Johnson starts. Brendan Johnson is one of his go-to guys. And you are right. He is not a footballer for this level. And he actually found himself in positions today where he could have, if he put a good cross in or did a good cutback, you could have scored goals. And I don't know about you. I thought Solanke's hold-up play, physicality today was good. But where was the chance creation for him?
Do you know what? This is the big problem with Spurs. I watched us and I said to Jim, we could play another 90 minutes. We just don't look like we can score. No one wants to take a shot. No one was crossing the ball in to Solanke. Our best cross with the ball is Porro, who plays as a wing-back. It's just an absolute shambles up front. And we've gone from having this incredible attack of Son and Kane to looking literally pitiful in front of goal. And there's just no clinical edge with Spurs at all.
No, I listen, I agree. And you did look, I call it friend zone football, eunuch football. Yeah. It was just, there was never, it didn't look, and I'm not even trying to be horrible to Spurs. I'm watching it and I'm thinking, you could play for another 90 minutes and you're probably not scoring. That is how it looked to me on the outside. Exactly. Look, Arsenal were a very difficult team to break down and beat. They've only conceded 1 goal all season. There's something in that. And I think you're right. There's combinations of players like Romero that need criticism. Johnson as an example. I wanted to ask you about James Maddison. It was another game today where he just one good cross maybe, but outside of that, it was more about him sorting his hair out than it was creating opportunities for Tottenham.
Look, I called James Maddison a prick the other day on the top 6, and I stand by it because that's exactly what he is. He's not good enough. You know, he flatters to deceive. Leicester was his limit. He's come to Spurs, and he's not good enough for Spurs. Every gooner's sat here smirking. Look, at the end of the day, I've had the bottles come on here and say my bit. Arsenal, they did enough to win. I thought had they have had Odegaard and Rice, probably would have got slaughtered, to be perfectly honest. And I just think it's going to be a long old season for Spurs this year. I really do.
It could be. I mean, the fact that you're 2 points behind my horrendous football team speaks volumes. I'm just, you know what I mean? I'm just putting it out there. We know how bad Man United have, and where it makes me laugh, and this isn't a dig at Tottenham as a football club or at the fans, because a lot of the fans watching like yourself are very honest, but it's the way Tottenham get talked up by so much of the media, yet club teams like Manchester United get absolutely ridiculed and are typically speaking better than them and win more than them. I know we're a bigger club and the scrutiny sometimes higher, but it just annoys me that it's, and I also don't think it helps Tottenham grow, because I always feel like you're being patted on the head like, oh, good boy, like you're a puppy. And
well, that's because
it
that's what
annoys
we
me.
are, Terry. That's what we are. Until we consistently can challenge. Tottenham fans like to think we're this juggernaut, but we're miles off it now. We're absolutely miles off it. Thanks to Daniel Levy, we've gone from being a team that got to a Champions League final to being a million miles away from the likes of City and Arsenal. And I've no doubt Man United will be overtaking us too as well in the not too distant future. And it's sad. I love my team. People think that I don't love my team. I love my team, but you have to accept where you are in the pecking order. And when you're bringing in the likes of Archie Gray in the transfer window and claiming it's been a fantastic window, it's not, you've got to be realistic. It's not because I hate Ange. People are criticising me for not liking Ange. I love Ange. I just think he's out of his depth in the Premier League. And I also think that our level of players aren't good enough to be challenging up there to even get top four. It's so competitive now, the Premier League. Even the likes of Newcastle, Brighton, they're playing such good football. But Jacob, I'm looking forward to hearing your defensive cutie today.
We're gonna go to we are gonna go to Jacob in a moment. Staffy, you said you wanted to speak on Tottenham.
Yeah, well, first of all, I didn't expect a lot of Spurs fans to turn up, so shout out to Kate and obviously shout out to Jacob. So the Arsenal guys, listen, they deserve to give Arteta praise today, so I don't need to speak about that. I'm pretty sure they're going to give him the praise that he deserves because he deserves a lot of praise for today's game. I'm just here to talk about Spurs because usually I get accused of being a Spurs twerker. Today, you're going to get the absolute opposite. So I need everyone to open their ears now because I'm not going to lie, I hate when I get fooled. And today, Spurs have fooled me, and I will tell you why. You are going against an Arsenal team without their best two midfielders for the first time since they signed both of them. So they've never played a game since they signed Rice. They've never played a game without Odegaard and Rice at the same time. You look at it, and there is reasons why you think, you know what? This Spurs team, with who they have available at home, with the way they play football, they might do well. It is reasonable to think of that. And today, it was the absolute opposite. You cannot be pulling up what you didn't pull up. Your rivals can't be pulling up with a weakened team, no bench. They decided we won't play football today. People were saying today's game was ugly. I don't blame Arteta for it. Arteta pulled up saying, I'm not coming to play football today. So if you didn't like the fact that he lived up to his word, that's up to you. Ange, however, on the other side, he says that he plays every game the same way. He approaches games the same way. He does not approach Arsenal games different than any other game. I'm like, you know what? I respect that. Fair enough. Then show me that today. And this is why on Straight Facts, I made the prediction that they're going to win 2-1. The fact today that you had almost no big chances created in 90 minutes and you had over 60% possession of the ball is woeful. Like I'm not gonna make this show about me, and I'm not gonna take too much time because there's so many people here. But you got dunked on in your backyard, literally dunked on. Gabriel actually pulled up on your hitter, your center back. He said, "Let's go band for band," and he scored on you. I don't care whose mistake it was. The fact that happened, excuse me, in your stadium is actually embarrassing. Vicario, I thought he had a very good season last season, but Vicario is literally De Gea reincarnated. This guy, every time there's a corner, it looks like it's a penalty. He struggles. I start sweating on when I'm watching the corner being taken because I feel nervous for him. Every time he looks like he's struggling on corners, and there's no solutions to that. And the fact that I said this before, that Spurs die after 60 minutes. I said this before, and it happened again today. Every time they finish 60 minutes, their plan just goes out the window. They cannot press with the same intensity anymore, and they cannot build up with the same intensity anymore. So what happens after 60 minutes? God fucking knows. Nothing happens. Nothing happens after 60 minutes. It doesn't matter who they're playing. And the plan dies out, and they don't have a plan B. I'm looking at it today. They conceded a goal. As soon as they concede a goal, what happens? He makes the changes. Why did you need to concede a goal to finally look at Brennan Johnson and be like, you know what? Brennan Johnson should be working at Subway. He should not be playing right wing for Tottenham. You have Odegaard, who I've never watched before this season, actually trying to take his man on, actually trying to do something, when Brennan Johnson is just being like a pussy all game and just passing it back. And they forced the cross all game. At one point, do you realize, you know what? This is not working. Let me switch up the tactics a little bit. And nothing changed. Nothing changed. I usually defend Ange. But I cannot defend Ange based on this second half today. This second half was absolutely shocking. And he showed me once again that he doesn't have the technical flexibility to be a top manager in the Premier League. At best, if he gets proper backing from Spurs, he'll be a decent manager with a decent team. But I look at this Spurs project and I don't see that next level, because the manager will never get the proper backing to actually play the style that he wants. And he's not tactically flexible enough to do what Arteta did. There's no way Arteta, with a better squad than you, can actually pull up and play defense. He played Sean Dyche football. Let's just be honest. He said, today I'm playing Dyche football. And he won. He needs to get respect for that. And Ainge got to hold that. I'm sorry.
Listen, I totally get where you're coming from. Thank you, Kate's put a message. He's going to drop out because I know a lot of people have got to speak here. Henry's here. I'm going to go to Dio quickly. We're going to come back to Tottenham. Thank you, Staffy. I appreciate that, and I think a lot of people would agree with you. I did say we broke a record on the Football Terrace today as we hit 10,000 live viewers. We are now at 12,200 people watching, which is just astronomical. So I want to thank everybody that is tuning in. Please stay with us. There's lots to get through, but hit the like button and make sure you are subscribing as well. I'm going to go to Dio because I know you've got to drive home, Dio. Obviously, an important win for Arsenal today. What did you want to say, mate?
Hey, 1-0 to the Arsenal. I called the 2-0 win. I called the clean sheet. I made a statement last week when Arsenal fans were panicking, and I said, there's multiple ways to win. We can play defensively, and I mentioned our set pieces. Sauls, remember? Sad, remember? Brandon, do you remember? We got the 3 points. We got the 3 points. That's all that matters. All of this noise, all of this fanfare, all of that panic, where is it now? Out the window, right? On to the next game. Mikel Arteta set the boys up right today. Gabriel Magalhaes. Gabriel Magalhaes. Please. This was Gabriel versus Tottenham. Forget it. It was Gabriel versus Tottenham. Nobody else on the pitch. Defended like a beast. Scored the winning goal. What else do you want from your team? What else do you want from your team? The trophies will come. The trophies will definitely come. Yeah? Giuseppe, remember I called this. Remember I called it. When everybody was panicking and losing their mind. I'm just happy, man. Dude, I had to come sit in my car to watch the game on my phone because I'm at church. Literally.
You went to church. Hang on, yes. You went to church in an Arsenal kit.
Yes. I went to I'm waiting on my kids and my wife. I had to come to look, I went to church in my kit, including my shoes. I went repping, including my fucking shoes, man. I'm like, let's go. Let's go. I knew we were winning.
I love that. That is brilliant. Listen, I'll let you get back to your family, Dio. I'm sure you'll be on the show in the week and we can speak again. Top man.